being ignorant, by thinking politics and the world doesn't matter, you become a willing dupe, a willing slave in this. You become a joke. And I know our viewers care. You're awake and informed, some of you more than I am. We've got to reach out to these sheeple, or none of us have any future. Speaking of somebody that stood up, LAPD detective who had witnessed narcotics trafficking, the CIA tried to recruit him, Mike Rupert, exposed the CIA back in the late 1990s, and his work and Gary Webb's work and others led to a congressional investigation where on C-SPAN the CIA admitted, yeah, we ship cocaine into America.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to...
Well, there's Mike Rupert. You know, the good news here is when good people stand up, we do start reversing this course. But we're talking about trillions of dollars a year total in keeping drugs illegal. It's time to decriminalize. It's time to treat it like a disease. And then if people do want to be addicts, they get it cheap. They don't break in your house. More than 70%, the Justice Department admits, of crimes in this country are drug-related. It's time to decriminalize all of it. Treat it like the illness it is. That's not just the Infowars Nightly News analysis. That's common sense. The bigger the drug war gets, the more drugs, the more crime, the more police state is on our streets, and now they're converting the police state over to the political commissar, political cops, arresting people like we showed last night for speaking out on street corners and handing out flyers. This is the opposite of freedom. It is pure tyranny. Now, I want to get into slavery because that's what this is. We have 4 million Americans behind bars, more than 10 million people in any one year on probation, paying all these fines and fees. We are a nation of slaves, but the entire world is going under globalist bondage. Not just debt slaves, but physical slaves. Not just sex slaves, but DynCorp and Halliburton, it's turned out, actually run slave factories where people live in basically dog cages. This is what we're talking about, and it has to be faced. Our reporter has filed a key analysis on this issue. Here's this report with John Bound.
Time magazine reports, despite more than a dozen international conventions banning slavery in the past 150 years, there are more slaves today than at any point in human history. More than 500 mostly small-scale trafficking syndicates, Nigerian, Chinese, Indian, and Russian, among others, collude and corrupt police officials to enslave local victims. Obama has pledged to make the fight to abolish modern-day slavery a top foreign policy priority. But the U.S. currently spends more in a single day fighting drug trafficking than it does in an entire year fighting human trafficking. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, after drug dealing, human trafficking, both sex trafficking and trafficking for forced labor, is tied with the illegal arms industry as the second largest criminal industry in the world today. And it is the fastest growing. There are an estimated 600,000 to 800,000 children, women, and men trafficked across international borders annually. Approximately 80% of human trafficking victims are women and girls, and up to 50% are minors. The total market value of illicit human trafficking is estimated to be in the excess of $32 billion. Sex trafficking is an engine of the global AIDS epidemic. And of course, we can detach ourselves from these mind-numbing statistics, simply turn on our TVs and escape to an illusion of celebrity lifestyles, selling us their mythical realities as we all eat from the vicarious trough of slop we are fed by our masters. Our masters, you ask? In 2009, Foreign Policy magazine ran an article entitled, "The Next Big Thing, Neo-Medievalism," arguing that the power of nations is declining and being replaced by corporations, wealthy individuals, the sovereign wealth funds of monarchs, and city-state regions. At what point will we wake up sharing the same hardships as these slaves in third world countries? John Bound, Infowars Nightly News.
Great job, John. Again, I've got to say something right here. My team is doing such a great job. I'm so proud of the work we're doing, the hard-hitting reports every night here. We couldn't have done this without PrisonPlanet.tv subscribers. And we're trying to add more and more audio and video formats. We're trying to get more and more information out. Quite frankly, this is a real gamble for me to go to this next level. It is a jump forward. And that's why I need your support as PrisonPlanet.tv members more than ever. Please spread the word about this transmission. Please buy your friends and family memberships. You know, we've got it set where you can have 6 people sign in with the same username and passcode. So tell your friends and family to tune in, to watch it, to try it out. We're going to start a new thing tomorrow where we're going to send yesterday's show out as a file to people that are members of the Infowars Insider free news email every Wednesday that's posted up at Infowars.com. You can go there to sign up for it for free. I just want to reach people. I just want to fight these criminals. I just want to be free. And it's strange that that is seen as extremist nowadays. It's weird to want to be free and not want to be ruled by corrupt people. Now, one of the biggest things we face is the technocracy. And I want to go to this report filed by Rob Jacobson and Darren McBreen that deals with Facebook. You know, the head of Facebook, whenever his users found out that he was selling their personal data, called them a bunch of dumb effers. He's like, they trust us, these idiots. See, these parasites get off on using your trust. They get off on not having basic humanity. They're the people ruining our world. Google spying on people, being CIA funded, Twitter, all of them. And we're on all these systems. We use their system against them. But let's be honest about what they are. Anything the system promotes, you better bet, is parasitic. And we know they're tied in with CBS TV, with face scanning to make it popular. We know they're getting people to log in now by identifying old past friends from high school. This is super creepy. And it ties into this high-tech panopticon. I think we've titled this piece, Facebook Face Scanners of the New World Order. Then, at the end of the piece, we're going to break and coming back with an extended interview with Mike Adams on solar flares and the Pentagon even saying it could cause hundreds of nuclear meltdowns, if not thousands. We're going to get into the Gardasil situation and so much more coming up. It's Infowars Nightly News. If you believe in this information and want to help make it become even more effective, you support us and you buy war bonds in the info war against tyrants by subscribing at PrisonPlanet.tv. Here is the report.
Recently, as a reporter for Infowars, I tried to log back into Facebook and it wouldn't let me. It wanted me to identify myself not with my passcode, but by showing me obscure pictures of my friends and family. I had the feeling that it had something to do with testing their face recognition technology, and then I saw this article in the Wall Street Journal. We know governments are quietly using face scanning cameras on street corners and in airports, and they have license plate scanners, but how are they going to get the public to openly accept a surveillance society? Well, Facebook recently teamed up with CBS to promote their new fall drama, Person of Interest, to condition people to opt in to their face recognition program. They know who these people are and what their names are, and they want you to confirm it for them. Sure, the security measure confirms who I am, but it also confirms for them who my friends and family are. So I went out to the street to find out what people had to say about all this. I tried to log on from a different computer that I never used before, and Facebook prompted me to say, look, we want you to go through a series of face recognition.
The questions and like showing you the pictures of your friends and stuff.
And they want you to identify all those pictures of your friends.
I guess it's just a privacy and like more of a protective measure because I know people's accounts get hacked a lot. So maybe they're trying to actually help us out by giving us a little quiz
I think I know what you're talking about, where they show you pictures and it's like, oh, is this person, and you're supposed to confirm it. Yeah, I think that's really weird. I know it's used as a tool just to make it easier to tag people, but I've never heard of it being used to get you to get back into your page.
You feel comfortable with the fact that Facebook is data mining all your personal and private information, including, your friends and family's activities?
I mean, I can't say that that's comfortable, but I think anything that you put up on the internet is up for public scrutiny.
I'm not comfortable with that at all. Although I know they're doing it, and I wonder exactly what they're doing with all the information.
The government agencies realize that it's a good way to, pick up on things that they don't like, or especially illicit activities.
You should, keep your settings on private, and you should be careful with what you post on there.
It's easier to monitor people on Facebook than it is to tap people's phones, I think, to a certain degree.
Anything you put up on the public sphere, I think, is essentially public information.
Just with the internet in general, we are getting more used to our business being out there and just getting used to, I guess, our privacy diminishing a little bit.
I'm just not going to be very informative on Facebook anymore. No, untag myself from every post that I've ever been in.
Some people are concerned that Facebook, it might be used to acclimate the public into accepting surveillance society.
Absolutely, I definitely think that while it might not be intentionally so, it could be intentionally so, but it's definitely serving as that.
I think it is getting us acclimated to a surveillance world.
That sounds a bit 1984 and creepy.
People are getting really used to sharing all kinds of information, putting everything about their entire life online.
We're putting a lot of information in a public sphere, and that information is accessible to anyone.
I think it's definitely acclimating people.
Who knows if that could be used for good, to hold us to a higher standard, or for something else. It's really about what we do with it.
I personally love Facebook, and it's just a way for me to keep in contact with my friends who live all over the world. And for anyone to use that for keeping track of people, I think that's just really creepy, actually. I don't feel comfortable with that.
It's incredible. Internet kill switches, cybersecurity, the takeover of the web, warrantless wiretapping. This is America 10 years after 9/11, and it has nothing to do with keeping us safe. Zuckerman, the owner of Facebook, insultingly called his own users dumb Fs. But worst of all, once you've posted your photos and your personal data on Facebook, they say they own it forever. You can make